Turn the Tesla off and put the rascals to bed. It's time for the Clash Royale League in North America. Our first match today features last-placed 100 Thieves against second-ranked compLexity Gaming. Will the Thieves pull the upset, or will compLexity surge to number one? It's time to find out.
They might be having fun right now, but don't for a second think they're not taking this game very seriously. 100 Thieves would love to dethrone the one-time and potentially two-time number one squad in North America, and compLexity has a real shot right now at getting a first and second round bye. A win today and a loss from Immortals would give them just one match to pass to make it all the way to Japan. Hello and welcome to Clash Royale League. I'm Rich Slayton. Joining me is Andrew Guy for the final week of action in the regular season at CRL. And today's a big one for North America because we do have a couple matches that will affect our standings.
Oh, yes, absolutely, Rich. As we hop into the standings here, you look at compLexity and Immortals at the very top of the standings. Now, compLexity being a team that really excels when it has time to prepare for its opponents, wants that number one spot. 100 Thieves at the very bottom looking to stop them and make Immortals stay at the top.
Taking a look at our playoff picture, right now it is compLexity in that number two spot. A win today for them and a loss for Immortals can move them into number one. Of course, later today, we have Cloud9 facing off against TSM for a very important spot, trying to get that number three position and prevent the possibility of falling out of contention for the World Finals.
Absolutely, and those World Finals will be taking place on December 1st in Tokyo, Japan. And if you're watching here in the States, it will be on November 30th. But that is December 1st, Tokyo, Japan at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time.
So we have a lot to get to today. Right now, we have 100 Thieves facing off against compLexity.
Yes, 100 Thieves coming out today with our good buddies Eddie Frost, PT105, and Pure Zun. Their opponents, compLexity, again fighting for that number one position. El Jefe, Chachi, Razzer, and Adrian Piedra. Colton taking a seat today.
We might see some interesting movement today out of compLexity. They do have that number two spot secured. Of course, they would love number one. To hear more about how they plan to get that done, let's go to Christy St. John, who's sitting down right now with Chachi.
Thanks, guys. So you are making your debut today. What can we expect?
So me and El Jefe are appearing for the first time for 2v2, and we're going to go out there, kick some butt, and showcase some decks that maybe you guys haven't seen before.
Oh, so we've got some new decks. Is this a strategy you've been planning for a while or something that you've created for just today?
You know, we've had all year to plan when we get our opportunity to go out there, so this deck's been a while in the making, but now we finally get to show it.
I have to ask, you're clearly friends with your guys across the way. Is that friendship going to hinder you from beating them?
I don't think so. I do love the 100T guys, but today they're our enemy. They can stand in the mirror all day long, but we're still going to go out there and do our job and take that win.
All right, fighting words. Well, thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. Chachi and Christy having a smile off there on our interview stage. It won't be smiles for very long, though. We are about to go to battle. Let's step... Wait a second, not inside the war rooms because we have a friend here for our mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yes, we absolutely do. Guys, these are our limited edition figurines. There are 5 available November 7th. You can get them at shop.supercell.com. And Rich, I'll let you do the unveiling this time.
I am very excited. Reign of Fire, it is the princess.
Yes, the princess. I'm sure Christy St. John will be very happy to see our good friend, the princess here. She's jumping here off screen. You guys can't see it, but it is happening. And there will be all of these 5 available. There's the Princess, the Mini P.E.K.K.A., the Baby Dragon, the Hog Rider, and the Giant. November 7th, shop.supercell.com. I want to take one home.
Get yours before I buy all of them. For now, though, you'll have to wait a little bit because right now we're going to jump into the war rooms as these squads prepare for battle.
All right, simmer down, boys, simmer down. Oh, I guess I'll sit over here this time. All right, now look.
Yeah.
We're in last place.
Yeah.
And we're getting clapped.
Yeah.
And we're taking heat on Twitter.
It's true.
All right? And we look like potatoes.
Yeah.
However, we're gonna go down there to the podium, down yonder right there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna clap compLexity's cheeks. Yeah. All right? They've got Chandler on their team. They don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So let me hear your battle cry.
Right.
Gentlemen, your proper 12, if you will. 3, 2, 1, 100!
We brought out a phenomenal 2v2 duo, okay? Chachi and El Jefe, you guys are one of the most prepared 2v2 duos in the league. And I mean that, guys. Remember the thousands of games that you guys have had, and particularly remember the ones where it's just felt really good. And you guys are in the zone and you're communicating clearly, effectively, you're playing as a unit, you're trusting your feel of the game that you have as a shot caller to be able to know when to push and when not to, and you're using the geometry that you got, man, to get that Archer chip. So
let's do it.
Bring it today, fellas. And Adrian, dude, you are playing, honestly, some of the best Clash Royale I've ever seen you play. So we're going to clean it up here in the 1v1 set. So let's do it, guys. Bring it in.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
Hey, guys, I have a really cool idea. Imagine taking Clash Royale and adding more of everything, like more cards, more players. I mean, wouldn't that be crazy? Wait, what's that? Oh, they already have that already. Right, 2v2. Eddie and PT-105, El Jefe and Chachi. Show us how it's done.
Week 9 of the season, somehow the King is surprised that we have 2v2 at CRL. But these guys aren't both squads very well prepared to go head-to-head.
Yes, very well prepared, even though we've never seen either of these 2v2 duos. Coming out for 100 Thieves today, we've got PT-105 teaming up with Eddie. Again, we haven't seen that before. PT-105 0-1 in 2v2 sets, Eddie 2-5 in 2v2 sets. On the other side of it, we've got two newcomers to CRL all together. You've seen them on camera, you've seen them in the war rooms. Chachi and El Jefe both 0-0 in this 2v2 set.
Taking a look at the card bands active for all of our potential 3 games here in 2v2, it will be Tornado and Fireball.
Yeah, no surprise there, Rich, but what is surprising is that you're not seeing Colton and Razor in that 2v2 set with all the success that they've had when compLexity is still fighting for that #1 spot.
Well, El Jefe and Chachi have been their full season training partners, so they've been going up against the best. Can they replicate that success? compLexity is Chachi and El Jefe at the top of your screen, 100 Thieves, PT-105, and Eddie at the bottom. And I'm very curious to see what this fancy new deck is coming out for compLexity. So far, though, this looks fairly standard.
Yeah, really. I mean, other than the thing that doesn't look standard is what 100 Thieves is doing, and that's with 2 spawners coming right out the gates, and also allowing about 1,000 damage in on their left-hand tower to start things off.
So we are seeing early double magic archers and on one side, and then Barb Hut and Furnace on the other.
Speaking with compLexity's Razor and Colton after their last match, they had told you and I, Rich, that they had gotten together 2 months before the rest of their team had gotten together to start working on their 2v2 tactics and communication. And I have got to say that dedication has paid off.
Well, spending time at that big training center out in Texas, of course, compLexity has a pretty big name in sports behind their back. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that is no small name in sports and no small budget to back their team. And that is an absolutely commendable and admirable thing that Colton and Razor did at their age.
Now, if we can just get Jerry Jones to build us a 100-seat Clash Royale stadium. 100,000 seat.
Yeah, that would be absolutely incredible.
First minute and a half down, and at the moment it is compLexity out to a slight lead, but 100 Thieves has done damage in both lanes.
100 Thieves choosing to opt to get more buildings on the ground than to defend their tower is a very interesting tactic to see if it's going to pay off here, as they're just about to lose their bottom left-hand tower.
Well, they do have a pretty hefty deck. You can see what's brewing in both players' hands, so maybe they are planning for something big here in the final minute.
Yes, a very, very nice use of your verbiage there, Rich. I wonder exactly what you could be meaning with the hand of PT-105 at the bottom of our screen.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Chachi and El Jefe, of course, making their debut. Chachi, 2-time 20-win challenge guy in Clash Royale, 2nd place in North American Combine in 2v2 specifically.
Yeah, that's what's so scary about compLexity is they've got a guy who was 2nd place in the NA Combine, not even playing for them in 2v2, which is, you just imagine the depth that their roster has.
El Jefe was top 16 North American CCGS and top 20 at the King's Cup.
Ooh, and just a miss on that lightning. You know that compLexity would have loved to get that 3rd Musketeer, or at least the tower.
So final 15 seconds, and that's going to be left-hand tower down. So compLexity needs to get a spell on that left-hand tower as well, and they do. So we are going to go into sudden death overtime between Chachi, El Jefe, PT-105, and Eddie.
And all of a sudden, 100 Thieves is actually in the lead. A great lightning coming in, getting more damage on that tower, probably wishing that they were able to actually hit that lumberjack as well. And now 8 piggies coming down the lane, meeting that furnace, but it's not going to be enough. That is a ton on the tower, and that is going to be towered down, unless I'm mistaken. 321 HP, so that, with a couple spells they have, you got lightning in hand, that will do it.
And there it is. Making it interesting here is 100 Thieves, but not getting in the way of the debut of Chachi and El Jefe.
Yeah, very exciting for these two guys. You see them hugging it out after game number 1. Got to be very, very exciting. We've seen them a lot here at CRL, backstage, behind the scenes, working with their team, and it's very exciting to see them actually come out on stage for their debut.
So there's the Barbarian Hut picking up those Royal Hogs, but just too much coming in the opposite direction. And while that miner works on the left-hand side, this was the beginning of the end, I believe. No, that was a little bit earlier. And here we go. This is the final push, Andrew.
Yeah, all 8 of those hogs come in. You see the lumberjack, you see the miner and the guards, another miner coming in. Those bats, so much to deal with. I mean, 100 Thieves actually cleans it up before it takes out their tower, which is very, very impressive. But then you got the spells coming in for compLexity, the lightning, and the poison. So El Jefe and Chachi making a great debut here in their first 2v2 set.
So I need to double check our records at some point, but I believe at 26, that is the highest elixir spent on buildings we've seen in 2v2.
And an interesting point you make about those buildings, Rich, because they had those spawning units for them, the furnace and the barb hut, I believe, and it just wasn't really paying off for them. And now you see compLexity running with a bit of the same. Bunch of Royal Hogs, you got the miner in there, the guards, poison.
So I'm wondering what this fancy deck is they were telling us about.
Yeah, I'm very curious as well. I mean, is this it? I mean, it is slightly different than what we've seen before, but
not as groundbreaking as Chachi may have hinted.
Yeah, but they did win the game, so hey, if it works, then that's really all that matters. And now you see 100 Thieves opting to go with these double spawners again. You also see the heal there once again in the hands of PT-105, and you got to wonder if these spawning units or these spawning buildings will actually be able to show their worth in game number 2.
Well, you know, that heal does have some value when playing up against poison, and that's why you saw TSM run that when they did. But it doesn't appear as though compLexity is running poison, and a lightning spell is going to take care of those 3 musketeers every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very odd deck makeup here from 100 Thieves. I mean, this is actually working right now. They're breaking through, and they broke through a couple times last game. It just has a very odd synergy to it. I'm very curious to see when the heal, if the heal comes in and is incredibly effective, if it gives an entire push a second life, that will be the most exciting moment for this deck.
Well, I guess the big question will be, can 100 Thieves get those 3 musketeers down in enough rotation to force a lightning to 1 and maybe bait out the poison? And in that case, the heal would be a good response if poison is a response to 3 musketeers.
Yeah, I mean, that is obviously the best place to use it is when they're getting poisoned down. You bring them right back to life. Your 9 elixir has a second leg, a second life, but really not being able to find the moment to capitalize on that deck synergy.
When he's not playing Clash Royale, Chachi is a personal trainer at Orange Fitness, so if he did take a look at those shoulders and muscles, maybe that's how he got it. I'm sure you can schedule an appointment at some point. When he is not playing and busy here, El Jefe went to college for graphic design and is a very talented... Oh, I thought... Sorry. I thought this card read that he was a bowler. He loves the bowler.
A little bit different there, Rich. Now we got 3 musketeers down the left lane, completely healthy, not distracted. They get the bats and the log coming in, doing a good job. However, that means they weren't able to focus on the right-hand tower, and now 100 Thieves in a commanding lead here in game number 2. And 8 hogs again.
Will those hogs able to break through? I don't believe so. That poison taking 10 elixir off the board in conjunction with the furnace, so that's going to be it. 100 Thieves taking game number 2, sending us to a 3rd and final game.
There's that heal finally coming in, showing that they had it. Maybe didn't even need that at the very end to show another hidden card in their deck, even though they saw it in the first game. Didn't mean they had it in the second.
So to re-talk about that bowler, El Jefe does love the bowler. It was in 2/3 of his decks as he qualified for the 3rd phase of North American CCGS.
And you see this dual lane pressure coming down so much in the right. 2 Magic Archers on top. That lightning comes in and just does work for 100 Thieves. Now, it looked like compLexity had it all taken care of, so they started focusing on the left-hand lane. But again, that lightning was just so much to deal with. Great timing, great use of their spell, and that is going to push it to game number 3.
26 elixir spent again on building, so will we see 26 more coming from 100 Thieves, or will we start seeing that fancy deck coming out from compLexity?
We got this.
Game number 3 underway, and looks like those piggies got bored of the first 2.
But they're still in the hands of Chachi and El Jefe here, and it looks like everyone's just going to stick with the same. Or very similar to the same, I should say. A little bit of changes here and there.
And Lightning doing a lot of damage to those 3 buildings there on the left-hand side, if you count the Princess Tower.
Yeah, really nice spell value for compLexity there.
And Valkyrie doing a great job combined with that log. And so for 6 elixir, wiping out those Royal Hogs and sending a fairly healthy Valkyrie the opposite direction.
Yeah, I like having one Valkyrie in hand for both players in 2v2. It's such a strong card, and having that AoE damage and the tankage is so great. I mean, why not have it just be one of your 16?
Well, some people look at the nerf of the Valkyrie and go, oh, Valkyrie is over, Valkyrie is dead. No, the difference is Valkyrie isn't as OP as it was at one point. And so a lot of people just started taking Valkyrie out of their deck constructions because it didn't dominate the way it did, but it still is a great utility card.
Yeah, I mean, there was a problem with the Valkyrie before, and it needed to be addressed, and Supercell did a great job in acknowledging it because that Valkyrie was in every single deck, Rich. You could not find almost any deck composition without the Valkyrie in it. If you have a card that's showing up in every single deck that isn't Log or Zap, then it's a little broken. And a lot of people talking about right now the Royal Ghost is kind of the next card under fire from the community.
Well, there's always one card under fire,
There
Andrew.
always is.
There will never be a situation where there isn't a card that doesn't seem to find a way all over the place on the board. So we'll see what happens with the Royal Ghost. Of course, the last update choosing to elevate all 8 cards rather than lower any of them in value.
Yeah, that's very a nice observation there. They were all buffed instead of nerfed.
So still trying to find purchase here, both of these squads. And that's a big moment down on the left-hand side. Tower down to 129.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just got to think the defense lapsed a little bit from compLexity there. Here, sending in the 8 Hogs once again. Now, they've kind of done this a few times, once in every single game, at least once in every single game, where they send in the 8 Hogs. However, with 100 Thieves deck makeup here, with all these spawning units, oh, that Magic Archer is actually going to do all the work that they need, kind of negating the defense that 100 Thieves just played.
And game number 3 will go to overtime, so the third verse, same as the first. Here we go, 3 minutes to decide who wins our 2v2 set.
And a back and forth slugfest here between these two teams. 100 Thieves not making it easy on compLexity, who just really want that #1 spot.
So trying to get 6 Musketeers down is 100 Thieves. One shy of the 7 sisters PT-105 has waiting back home.
That's absolutely, I thought I had a lot being raised by 3 sisters, but 7, that is unbelievable. Ooh, and they're going for the 3 crown here. Is 100 Thieves now? That's going to be an easy cleanup on defense by compLexity, and you wonder if that was maybe a little bit of an overcommittal by 100.
Well, they still do have plenty of elixir, so it doesn't look like they opened themselves up too bad. So what do they do on the right-hand side? Miner sneaks in, and these Royal Hogs will get on tower despite all the defense in front of it.
What a great placement by that Miner. It tanking for that Flying Machine, getting down just in time before the Flying Machine actually focused on the Royal Hogs. A very nice play by compLexity. And here's a move you see at 400 or 4,000, excuse me, are the three Musketeers in the pocket. A very quick cleanup by compLexity. Very, very nice heads-up play.
That's just a harder move to do in 2v2 when there are so many spell responses.
Yes, absolutely. However, if you do catch your opponent off guard and you get those three Musketeers in the pocket, it is usually a very quick game over. But also a lower skill cap play.
Well, let's see what happens here in these waning moments. A minute 30 remaining, and
my
there's the
goodness.
heal.
Is the heal going to take it? Having to commit a little bit more elixir to defense, not being able to commit to that 417 on offense. 200 HP, 198 HP separate the two of us.
That's going to be it. I think we have to get that lightning down, and things are very close here to 225, and that will be it. Chachi and El Jefe taking their first set.
Oh, and they're shooting arrows in honor of our friend the Princess at the desk.
Very well played in their debut. El Jefe and Chachi, that season-long set of scrimmages against the two best in 2v2, and Colton and Raz are paying off here for the new pair.
Hey, look, if you sit back for 14 matches, you should at least get your celebration dance locked in, and Chachi and El Jefe really enjoying themselves. You see them playing great defense here. The miner comes in, getting it within spell range. Great plays by both teams. 100 Thieves sneaks that flying machine in the pocket. Honestly, if they would have thrown a tank in front of that flying machine, maybe a Mega Minion, they might have taken it. 34 building elixir spent by 100 Thieves. Not enough to stop El Jefe and Chachi.
You know, that's probably a new record in CRL
Definitely.
2v2, 34 elixir spent. And now you also have to wonder is, you know, I think it might have been a Magic Archer celebration with those two Magic Archers,
that's
but
a better
it
point.
could go either way. So the question, was the Chachi El Jefe Magic Archer or Princess celebration as good or better than the Razor Colton Baby Dragon celebration?
Oh, that's very true. And both of those are actually available. Not the Magic Archer, but the Princess and the Baby Dragon for our figurines. Shop.supercell.com. But we got to get back to business, Rich.
Available right now is more Clash Royale League. Let's head into 1v1.
This season, the 1v1 showdown has delivered the biggest stars and the biggest moments. Under the lights, we have seen the Aztec Eagle, Adrian Piedra, get fired up and throw down. We have witnessed Frost go numb with excitement. Gentlemen, it's time to do what you do best.
Let's go, Adrian. Go, Adrian.
No guesses here what that is, King. It is 1v1 for both these guys.
Absolutely. Frost really established himself as the 1v1 specialist for 100 Thieves. Only 2 and 4 in 1v1 sets and 3 of 4 in King of the Hill, but he has taken down some of the biggest names in the game in the highest pressure situations. And his opponent, Adrian Piedra, in his 14th 1v1 set appearance, 7-6 overall in his record, but compLexity will not give up on their boy. He has been in every single one of their sets.
Let's take a look at the ban cards for this 1v1 set. It is Tornado and Graveyard.
Yeah, Graveyard being banned now, I believe, for the second or third time in total at CRL. A very effective deck in the meta now out of play.
So not available here, but available is Adrian Piedra and Frost for 1v1. Let's go.
Let's go, Adrian.
compLexity's Adrian Piedra, top of your screen. 100 Thieves, Frost at the bottom. And kissy, kissy, kissy faces all the time from the Aztec Eagle.
A lot of fun watching these two teams in the tunnel before the match, knowing that they're all buddies outside of the game. But right now, Adrian needs to take out his friend Frost to push compLexity to that #1 position.
And both players just choosing to hang out for a while, say hello repeatedly.
And I'm going to say it again because I've said it before. Always interesting. You hope both of these guys have a beatdown deck and that one of them isn't just holding his cards out of pride, because the beatdown deck, especially the stronger beatdown, if you're going Golem against Lava Hound, the Golem usually prevails.
You know, given the what's happened so far this season, Andrew, I'm just going to say it's double bait.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was hopping in a stream last night of some of our pros here, and I was just talking about how anything can really be the meta now. We've seen so much work here at CRL. What is the meta?
And it's a Barb Hut for Frost as we enter the 2nd minute of play. Could it be the no-win condition deck? Could it be the mirror deck?
It could be the no-win condition deck, but I would be surprised that Frost waited that long just to play his Barb Hut, but so far it is showing signs of that. The Bandit, however, not in that deck.
So it's some form of Golem with the Jack and the Bandit.
Yeah, and this looks exactly like that Siegs deck that we saw. Again, we've kind of nicknamed it the no-win condition deck. We've seen very, very minimal success from it here at CRL, but it has been successful.
Although one little wrinkle, we did see OP Sam earlier today using that with the log moved in for the Barb Barrel.
Yeah, the log in for the Barb Barrel and the Mega Minion in for the Zap, giving it, or the Bats, excuse me, giving it just a little bit more chip damage potential, as well as a less spell bait aspect.
So some good damage here in the left-hand lane for Frost, and I'm wondering if from a matchup perspective against Golem, some of those openings while your opponent's waiting to Golem up might be good for things like a cannon cart like we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, one of the best things you can do against Golem is keep the pressure up in the opposite lane so that they have to continue to spend their elixir defending instead of creating a big downhill push. Frost not really opting to go that way, kind of doubling down in the lane with his spawning buildings. What I would do if I was Frost, now who cares what I would do, what I think he should do, I should say, is to create pressure in the opposite lane by continuing to place his Barb Hut with the spawners going the other direction, because them going right into the Golem doesn't really create any pressure anywhere else. And so Adrian is like, fine, I'll create pressure somewhere else. I'm just going to send my Bandit naked down the right lane. It's going to get a dash and 3 hits in.
And raged up are those Golemites, so we should get some significant damage with that Baby Dragon as well. Magic Archer trying to stop things, but now both towers in a lot of trouble here in sudden death overtime.
That Bandit timed perfectly. You know, that Fireball came in by Frost. Adrian recognizing that there is just not enough elixir. There's only 10 you can have max at a time. Frost expelling a lot of it to play defense. Great Bandits by Adrian to keep the pressure up and keep up that counter lane pressure on Frost.
You know, it seems like we've seen a lot of fun here today in this match. Adrian Piedra, though, looks like he's taking this as seriously as if his life was on the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is. You know, like, I know that compLexity has clinched a spot in the playoffs, essentially, but getting that #1 spot is so very important for a team like them that has proven they are the most dangerous when they get time to prep. Now, remember, they lost 4 games in a row, and 3 of them coming in Power Week. Other than that, they've been perfect, Rich.
So there you have it, Adrian Piedra taking game #1, looking to win game #2 and close this thing out for compLexity. Frost, though, might have something planned. Who knows, maybe there's a cooler filled with ice in the back. He can numb up those fingers and come out swinging.
Let's go, Adrian.
Game #2 underway, and it is still Adrian top of your screen, Frost at the bottom. The ban cards are still Tornado and Graveyard.
You know, for a deck that was praised so much just a few days ago, I've got to say that Siegs no-win condition deck, if you want to call it that, might be great in grand challenges and ladders, classic challenges, playing with your buddies, but here at CRL, I think it's only been successful 1 time, and that was against a mirror matchup. Maybe twice, but I also believe it was slightly varied, and it was that OP Sam deck. So playing against the best in the world with a deck that doesn't have a win condition, not proving to be a very great decision here.
So a lot coming on the right-hand lane against Frost. He's trying to mount a counter attack. It's Minor Balloon for Adrian Piedra, and Frost running this deck one more time. So a little interesting here now, you know, we do have a lot of damage early on, Andrew, on this right-hand lane. The question being, will there be a way for this balloon to get through, or is it going to be basically just sort of a minor control situation for Adrian Piedra?
I mean, honestly, man, in this position, once again, recognizing what deck is being run and most likely what the last card is, which is probably going to be a Fireball, I say forget the balloon, forget overcommitting, play the Mega Knight in your best defensive positions, and otherwise chip away with the minor.
Down to the last minute, getting into our double elixir time, and right now Adrian Piedra with a commanding lead.
And it's not that I don't like the deck. I actually really love playing with this deck. It's just not working here.
Well, you know, as you said, Andrew, we are up against a different level of player, and you know, especially, so you have two issues. One, you have a different level of player than you do typically when you're playing ladder or playing in grand challenges. And also, you have players who now know this deck. All these pros have seen it. This might be a deck that had a great run early on because it was catching people off guard.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, Rich. That Barb Hut really being very, very effective over the last week, but maybe just not in this deck. Maybe it's actually better in the other archetypes that it's been fitting into. And now with that miner on the tower, 300, 264 HP, we need to get something in front of that cannon cart, and there comes an Ice Golem.
And a huge Mega Knight. So that Mega Knight, unless the Magic Archer gets a lot of hits and prevent it from doing more. So there you go. It's the miner getting on tower. Adrian Piedra taking the win here and giving compLexity a shot at first place in North America.
Yeah, now it's really all up to Immortals to keep themselves at the very top with their next match. But right now, it's about compLexity. Adrian finishing his regular season 8-6 in 1v1 sets, doing an incredible job, 21-15 overall.
That is fantastic play from Adrian Piedra. So very, very well done here. And now moving to, what is that, 26-18 in head-to-head play?
Yeah, just an insane amount, 40 games under his belt. You see the camaraderie, the sportsmanship. That's the thing that I love so much about this community in esports, Rich, is all these guys are friends outside of the battle arena. Now, they may have their beefs on Twitter, they may have their moments in the match, but at the end of the day, they're all people that are the best in the world at one thing and one thing only, and they're here being celebrated by us and the entire world.
And compLexity trying to prove that they are the best in the world at Clash Royale League. And not just Clash Royale, but this team format.
Yes.
Mixing 2v2 in, working together with their coaches, their analysts, their managers, trying to build towards a shot at Japan.
Yeah, and as we hop into the replay here, once again, and I love Frost, one of my absolute favorite players here at CRL. I don't love his deck choice, though, and we've seen it twice today where someone is able to pick it apart, especially with a balloon deck, not having a lot of great air counters, things that are zappable. You see this Magic Archer coming in, and maybe it might even things up, but no. The miner comes in 3 hits later, and it's just a zap away, and Frost knows it. Great plays by both of these gentlemen, but Adrian Piedra, the Aztec Eagle, coming out on top once again.
So let's go sit down with Christy St. John as she talks to Adrian Piedra about what we just saw and what we might see for compLexity in the future.
Thanks, guys. Adrian Piedra taking the set and the match. How you feeling?
Well, it's amazing. I'm not that shaky today, but happy for all.
Yeah, and it seemed like there was a lot of love to go around. You feeling that?
Yeah, I mean, we love 100 Teams guys. They're amazing, especially Frost. Like, he's like a friend for us, and we appreciate them a lot.
I have to ask, in game 1, a strategy question, you had a golem deck, and yet you still did split lane pressure. What was the strategy behind it?
Okay, well, usually I want to break his cycle with the bandit, since he has a few ground units, like only cannon card, and then I realized that he didn't have Barb Hut, I think. And then I was just trying to split, and well, if he let the bandit connect, it's a lot of damage.
Well, great match, great win, and looking forward to the playoffs, man. Thanks for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. Friendships notwithstanding, compLexity now taking a very big win and a potential opening for them in our standings.
Absolutely. This is exactly where compLexity wants to be, at the very, very top. With that win, they are now 10-4. But if you'll notice, Immortals is only 9-4. They got one more huge match coming up where they can actually claim that #1 spot back. 100 Thieves in their final match of the season, 2-12, looking to come back next year with a better record.
That Immortals game against Tribe isn't until Thursday, but right now another big one with playoff implications. It's Cloud9 and TSM facing off. The winner secures our 3rd place and a shot in the playoffs. The loser opens the door for Tribe to win and surpass them in our standings.
Attention, one and all, from wee little skeletons to the giants of giants. It is time for the main event. Third-ranked Cloud9 against fourth-ranked Team Solomid. Need I say more? This is as big as it gets. Great teams, playoffs on the line, desperation, destruction. The time for battle is now.
Tensions are high for what could be considered a wild card match today. Cloud9, with their roster of head-to-head specialists, believes that if they make the playoffs, no one can beat them in our postseason format. And TSM, having got their last player late in the season, feeling like they deserve a spot in the top 4 and a shot at the World Finals. Our second match of the day may as well be an early playoff appearance for these two squads, Andrew. A shot at third place in the line. The loser could potentially be out depending on what happens this Thursday.
Absolutely. And before we hop into the rosters, we just want to remind you of our friends at the desk. We got the Princess and the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Looking for names. Throw them down below in the comments. And remember, you can buy these limited edition figurines at shop.supercell.com on November 7th. But back into the action. Cloud9 coming out today with their all-star roster. We got Wings, C. McHugh, Baron, and of course Trainer Chris in that last spot. Their opponents, TSM, receiving their 4th member later in the season, who is OP Sam. Started off with Firewolf, Air Surfer, and Vulcan.
OP Sam really does seem to be the difference so far. TSM holding in a good spot through most of the season, but now with their 4th and final piece, looking like a real playoff contender with the creative decks of the mad scientists. So let's go down to our Christy St. John, who's standing by with OP Sam.
Thanks, guys. Now, you proved a master at conquering many decks, especially recently Ash's 7.0 Elixir deck challenge. People said it was impassable, and you got it. So tell me, besides time spent, how do you go about conquering a new deck?
Most of the time, I just watch other people creating decks and like copy their ideas and switch some cards to make it even better.
Now, today's match is make or break, really, for both teams. Tell me how many days did you prepare for this?
Too much to count.
I got it. I must admit, your coach told me to ask that question. He seems to think that sometimes you guys procrastinate and do crazy things. So, what did you think? How do you feel about the pressure going into this match?
The pressure is pretty high. Like, if we lose, we could potentially be out of playoffs. We could not. But if we win, we're 100% in the playoffs, so we have to win. The pressure is pretty high.
Whew, makes for an exciting match. Well, thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. Well, I wouldn't think Sashenko would be too worried about procrastination. The last time Sam blew off practice, he not only took #1 on the ladder, but the next day went and swept all of compLexity with the OP Sam deck. So I think he might have his practice plan down pretty well, but we will certainly find out. Let's go inside the war rooms as these coaches prepare their squads for the final moments before this very, very important match.
This is it. Like, don't leave everything on there. If you have to make a risky play, if the game's getting away from you, just do it, dude. Don't do any, like, don't play safe if the game is out of your hands. Leave it all there, so if things don't go as planned, you're not regretting, I could have done this, I could have done that. Just go all out. Today's everything. We've practiced more than we've ever practiced for any other match. We prepared for these bans. I believe in all of you, and this is our region, dude. Let's just get into playoffs. And once we're in there, no one wants to play us, dude. No one wants to play us in a best of 5. Just go out and play our game today. All right?
All right, this is the last match of the season for us, of the regular season, okay? We need to get this dub against Cloud9. Leave it all out on the floor, okay? You guys are ready, and we deserve to be in the playoffs. They're on tilt right now, and you guys all play ladder, so let's put them on more tilt. Let's snipe them, all right? Bring it in. TSM on 3. 1, 2, 3. TSM!
Like any team, 2v2 tandems are only as strong as their weakest link. I mean, imagine partnering in 2v2 with a noob. No thanks. Luckily, C. McHugh's got Wings, and Air Surfers got Vulcan. No noobs allowed. Let's do the 2v2.
Last time these squads met in 2v2, it was Cloud9 taking it in 2 games, but they have a very different look across from them in this opening set.
Absolutely. Wings and CMQ stepping out today. CMQ is 1-4 in 2v2 sets. Wings 3-5. Cloud9 in general has kind of struggled in that 2v2 set, however, has always bounced back with the strength of their head-to-head play in that 1v1 and King of the Hill. And as Rich just said, their opponent's Air Surfer coming out, something they saw before. Vulcan, however, not so much. Now that Sam has made it over here and onto the roster of TSM, Vulcan has comfortably moved into that 2v2 spot, making their team that much more deadly.
Currently undefeated in 2v2 is Vulcan, so a very interesting wrinkle here as we get into the final match of the season. The ban cards active for all potential 3 games here in 2v2, Poison and P.E.K.K.A.
Yes, Poison and P.E.K.K.A. both being taken off the table. You wonder if that means those Lava Hounds are going to be tanked for by those miners, both of those being very, very strong with these 2 bans.
So the stakes are, of course, very high. The winner today secures 3rd place. The loser in danger of leaving without going to playoffs. Game number 1, TSM's Vulcan Air Server, top of your screen. Cloud9's Wings and CMQ at the bottom. Andrew, the talks in the war room, very interesting today.
Yes, that was exactly, I was just telling you, there's something I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was, but yeah, they're very, very interesting. You hear TSM saying that, Cloud9 is on tilt, let's put them to the end, and then Cloud9, on the other hand, saying that they, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the most interesting thing. Eric, kind of uncharacteristically, not as loose as normal, saying, look, don't play safe, take big swings, take risks, leave everything out in the arena today.
Yeah, and I admire that tenacity from Eric. I mean, he truly believes, as most coaches do, that they have the absolute best players in the world on their team for head-to-head play. That NATO barely just getting that King Tower activated. So he believes, why not take more risks? And you see now Cloud9 coming out swinging, taking that tower early on, and now threatening a 3-crown from TSM.
Kind of an unnecessary King Tower activation, or unuseful at this point, because Princess Tower down early, and under halfway is the King Tower, so a shocking opening, Cloud9 making a statement in the early moments.
Yeah, and that's when Cloud9 gets to be the most dangerous, is when they take that 2v2 set, all of a sudden they are left with only their strength sets.
So we're passing the midway point, and it looks like we are near the end given the way the towers are right now, and Cloud9 still has barely taken any damage in either lane.
And now TSM with that Lava Hound coming down, you got to imagine the miner's going to come in very soon to tank for it, and this is going to be their idea of how to get damage in. Maybe not having the timing or the elixir, or having to focus too much on this golem in the pocket. They cannot support their push, and now another tower down, it's going to look like here for TSM.
Well, Golem going opposite lane does actually work out very well in their favor with their King Tower down so low. So as we enter into double elixir time, TSM still fighting to survive, but doing their best with what they have.
Yeah, and the thing about these Lava Hound pushes that pop and are tanked for by the miner, they can do an insane amount of damage very, very rapidly. So it's not that TSM is completely out of the game. They're just in a really, really tough position to come back.
Not much going to get on tower here in the left-hand lane, though, so holding strong so far and choosing to go opposite lane, but C9 goleming up in the same direction. Very, very nice play, but now we see it's double lava.
Yeah, C9 knows that this is a last-ditch effort for TSM. This is the last chance they have to take a tower. You know a miner is going to come in. That's the only thing that they can do, so how are they going to stop it? There's that miner coming across the map, tanking just in time. The Night Witch comes down to catch it, and that is exactly what Cloud9 wanted to happen. That Lava Hound staying alive as long as it did is actually a benefit for Cloud9.
And a beautiful tornado rocket to clean all that up and say, no, we are closing the door on this game. CMQ and Wings playing like they have been putting a lot of time into their 2v2s.
A different beast stepping up to the plate for Cloud9 today. That is something I haven't seen from them in a long time. And honestly, the way that they tornadoed all those troops together, the rocket and the fireball, was like, no, this is our game, this is our set, so I'm very curious to see what happens in the second one. And this is that very beginning push. You see these double miners coming down defensively for TSM. That's 6 elixirs spent on a very weak defensive card, maybe just not having the correct answers in cycle.
So there you have it, game number 1 going to Cloud9, and they are now in a great position. As my co-host mentioned a moment ago, winning here puts them where they feel comfortable in an advantage going into head-to-head play.
Absolutely, and head-to-head is where they're the most dangerous. What's going to happen in game number 2?
You going? Yeah.
Ban card still Poison and P.E.K.K.A, and now we're understanding that P.E.K.K.A ban a little bit more here with Cloud9 running the Golem deck to open up.
Yep, and it looks like TSM is going to meet them with the same after that Lava Hound idea did not work in the first game.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, with the P.E.K.K.A ban, it seems like taking to the air like that might have been not the best choice deck-wise.
Yeah, I mean, because what happens is you end up not having a ton of ground responses, or you don't have a great counter push on the ground, and you saw in that last game, TSM just could not break through, and when they finally did break through, Cloud9 wasn't really bothered by that Lava Hound coming through, because here's the thing, if you kill the miner that's tanking for those lava pups, and you have something distracting those pups, you can leave a Lava Hound on the tower as long as you want. It doesn't do a bunch of damage. A great Ice Spirit there.
Really beautiful play so far. Cloud9 really doing some different stuff here in the 2v2 set.
And so you see TSM here with the Guards, the Prince, the Rocket, the Inferno Dragon, all excellent responses to a big Golem push that's going to be coming downhill. You know, it looks like almost like a train going downhill when you have the Golem up front with all the supporting units behind. So that Rocket is a great tool to clean all of that up. Very curious to see what C9's responses are to stop the Golem.
Well, so far doing pretty well. They've thrown 2 Golems down the lane. Not much has happened, but this is also the first damage for Cloud9. So far, this is moving very slow. TSM adopting a more conservative approach and paying off for them so far.
And that Baby Dragon for Cloud9 doing such a great job, such a powerful card. I mean, the damage that it does isn't a great amount. However, the splash damage and the health that it has provides such, it's just such a wonderful card. And you can see it working its way into the meta quite a bit here at CRL.
So both squads having difficulty getting their Golems anywhere near the tower, just a little death damage on both lanes.
Yeah, so you wonder if is it going to be 2 Golems? Is it going to be alternating Golems? Are they going to do 1 in each lane? Very curious here to see how they start to continue this push, because neither team has excellent responses if you were to go send 1 down each lane.
Cloud9 has done a great job with their Tornado Rockets so far, both in the last game and this one.
Yeah, that Tornado Rocket combination is so powerful, and now they do the little bit weaker version because they saw the troops didn't demand as much elixir.
This whole 2v2 play from Wings and CMQ just reads as infinitely more confident than we've seen in the past from this squad.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to vocalize earlier. It seems so much different, and maybe that has to do with what Eric was saying before, is don't be scared, take risks. You guys are the best in the world. Just play the game how you know to play it. And honestly, as we've gotten farther along in the season, that actually seems to be the sentiment that most coaches are echoing. You guys are the best in the world. Pretend you're at home playing on your couch and do what you do best. Win the game.
I'm sorry, Andrew. That was a really great rocket from TSM, not needing or using Tornado in that case, so saving 3 elixir but still wiping out a ton of support.
Yeah, letting all those units kind of come together at the same time, dropping that rocket on there. Really great elixir usage.
We are 30 seconds into our overtime, and so far neither squad has found a clear way to break through, so we might be in a draw situation here potentially.
Yeah, and Rich, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, I definitely think you try this push a couple more times. You know, it's not too risky, too crazy, but then I think in the last minute, you maybe try to mix things up. You can get a good enough Golem push going with only 1 minute remaining to take a tower. So maybe in that moment, you drop 1 at the river, 1 at the other river, and see what happens. I don't know. That seems like something that might be a good idea here with so much on the line.
Well, that push did get away a little bit, some damage in the left-hand lane, but it does appear as though TSM might be building towards a bit more right now.
Yeah, and with just under 2 minutes left to play, TSM looks to be changing up their attack style, but still not getting a ton of success with breaking through.
And a King Tower activation, despite being late in the game, that could be very important, preventing any last-second wins here. from the TSM squad.
Absolutely, that just a little bit of additional defensive cushion is very important. And again, you see these baby dragons, which we're also going to have a figurine of, but the baby dragons have done so much in 2v2 lately that it's almost like as if people forgot about the card in the first couple weeks of the season and then brought it back, realizing, well, this is going to clean up all of these troops bunched together.
So around 500 hit points separating these two squads. Not a huge margin, but an important one. With a minute left, it's going to be very difficult for Cloud9 to put that final bit of damage on the left-hand lane.
Yeah, and with a draw, it almost negates the win that Cloud9 got in the very first game just because of the position it puts TSM in the third, excuse me.
And you got to imagine Cloud9 will just play defense here. They had a good idea trying to cycle logs at the river early on and get a little bit of defensive work and put Chip on the tower, but it just did not quite do enough to get the victory here.
Yeah, both these teams going to be falling just a little bit short, but as I just said a moment ago, with only 15 seconds remaining, this is really more of a win for TSM than it is a draw for them in this moment.
That's a very good point, Andrew, because as we go into the third game, now a win or a draw will be the same thing for TSM, whereas the only thing that eliminates them from a fourth and final game would be a loss.
Yes, exactly. So Cloud9 really having to take this next game. They need to take this 2v2 set. You've heard Eric talk about how important it is to take this 2v2 set once again, because he believes truly he has the best head-to-head players in the world on his team.
Take a look at the replay here, Andrew, and this really was the story. The rocket play helping out some, but mostly just bridge skirmishes that didn't turn into much.
Yeah, absolutely, Rich. It was the same thing going on all game. You saw the very late King Tower activation. A great point by you saying that, that King Tower activation can help prevent any crazy Princess Tower takes in the last few seconds of the game, but I think at that moment, both teams, all four players up there, knew that this was going to be a draw going into the third game.
So game number 3, it is not lowest tower rules yet, but a win or a tie is the exact same thing for TSM. Either one would send them to a fourth and final game. So Andrew, that situation does raise some interesting questions from a coaching perspective. Number one, do both these squads know what's going on? Does Cloud9 know that the only thing that matters for them right now is a win? A loss and a draw are the same. And does the same thing happen for TSM? Because from Cloud9's perspective right now, this is a situation where take crazy risks. Go for the win, because a draw is basically a loss.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're completely correct there. And people, viewers at home might kind of laugh at the idea of like, well, of course they know the rules. But that's one of the biggest things about having a coach and a manager and letting your players just play the game is sometimes the players don't actually know the rules as well as they think, and that ends up having them make maybe the wrong choices in selecting a deck or how they play the last moments of the game. So in this moment, you've got to imagine TSM has got to swing for the fences. Cloud9 also in a very interesting position because they did take that first game. They don't want to lose this 2v2 set, but they have a little bit more cushion.
Well, so, talking about swinging for the fences for TSM, remember, a draw and a win are the exact same thing. So there is a question of playing conservatively here and straight up playing for a draw, not taking risks. And it seems to me like going with this Royal Giant Giant Skeleton deck might be a bit risky in this situation.
That is true. We have seen this Royal Giant Skeleton deck kind of have mixed reviews here at CRL. It's done very lukewarm, if you will. It hasn't done very well in the 2v2 sets, and we've seen it pop up here and there in 1v1, not with the Giant Skeleton, more with the bowler there. But it does appear that the kind of maybe the glitz and glamour behind the damage of the Royal Giant is starting to just kind of trick teams into using it to their demise.
That was a beautiful rocket and another beautiful fireball. So
wow.
Here we go with the death damage taking out that Valkyrie. That's going to be a Royal Giant and a Flying Machine, forcing the fireball out while still doing a ton of damage in the right-hand lane.
And that fireball is not what they wanted to have to use in that situation on the Royal Giant. Now, obviously, they're getting decent spell value because they're taking out the Flying Machine, but just an expensive way to take out a card that's already done its damage. It was really more about the Flying Machine, and that rocket is not going to hit that Mega Minion.
An important difference, though, in how they picked up those miners, and now it is Cloud9 in a slight lead, although not much left with to deal with this giant push coming down the right-hand lane.
And what I like about TSM here using their Royal Giant is they're not relying on the Giant Skeleton to get in front of it and the Lumberjack to get in front of them to create this push, which I actually think has been the biggest detriment in this deck, is so many people that play it don't feel that the Royal Giant can do enough on its own. However, TSM proving them wrong, showing you exactly how to attack with it and just get just the right amount of efficacy out of it.
Cloud9 getting much more aggressive this time around with their spell play. That's about 4, maybe 5 spells in a row that they very intentionally made sure got tower and troop damage.
Yes, exactly. Tower and troop damage, which is so important to point out, because if you look at their elixir, they are not at a massive deficit. They did a great job of taking out that tower before they ran out of time, while still remaining an elixir, not advantage, but just staying with it. And that is a great, great rocket.
And here they go, continue with that same rhythm. So Cloud9 definitely making some important adjustments, and that's a huge Magic Archer.
Yeah, those 4 shots coming through, a really, really quick heads-up play. I mean, you know, it was hailed as one of the highest skill cap cards in the game a long time ago. Now I also believe the light has kind of faded from the Magic Archer. Now it's just a really effective, annoying card that kind of everyone has figured out how to use.
I'm telling you right now, Andrew, if Cloud9 played 2v2 like this all season, we would not be talking about whether they'll make the playoffs. They would have already clinched.
I 100% agree, Rich, and I honestly think they could have probably been in first place. They are playing with a fiery passion today, almost angry, and I love it.
Nice work from TSM to play on the outside and not let Magic Archer get target on both the troops and tower. So we are in sudden death overtime, and it is Cloud9 with around a 300 hit point lead, and they keep on. Now they're just spell cycling hard now. Miner on the tower. This should be it.
Pocket. Wow, and right then and there, you knew Cloud9 decided to make a decision. They probably had that moment as a team being like, yo, we are 3 spells away from winning this. Let's just do it out. They're going to Royal Giant us in the pocket. It doesn't matter. Save up your elixir. Just spell cycle them out. And as you just said, Rich, and I couldn't agree more, if Cloud9 played their 2v2 set like that for all 14 matches, we would be looking at a much different top 4 in my mind. However, it doesn't matter. They're still going to probably make it to playoffs, and they're going to have time to shine.
Well, they do have someone in their way, and we'll get to that story in just a moment, but this is what it was all about. The spell work of Cloud9 getting very aggressive and not just waiting to get both troop and tower damage, but sometimes going, hey, we have plenty of elixir to defend. Yeah. We have the right cards to defend. Let's get damage and make sure we can put this thing away.
Absolutely, and that aggressive spell damage, but still playing it conservatively enough, as you said a couple times now, to hit the troops and the tower was the only reason they were able to stay in the game once it got into overtime. So many times we see that team that's behind sacrifice all their elixir to take out a tower, and then all of a sudden they've got nothing to defend. So a great job by Cloud9 there.
Cloud9 with a set in hand, and coming up next in 1v1, they have Baron, but across from him, the mad scientist himself. They have to get through OP Sam.
It's the end of the CRL season. Playoffs are on the line, and the big boys are coming out to play. The silent assassin, Baron, against the mad scientist, OP Sam. Does Sam have another invention up his sleeve? Time to find out in the arena.
A huge 1v1 matchup. 2 very well-credentialed, well-respected, and well-won players here facing off for their team's future.
Absolutely. We got Baron, as Rich just said, the silent assassin, 5-1 in these 1v1 sets. You can't get much emotion out of this man, whether he wins or loses, but he does not lose often. On the other side of it, OP Sam, same thing really, 2-0 in 1v1 sets, 5-1 in King of the Hill. He just completed a 7 elixir average 12 win grand challenge, something that a lot of people said couldn't be done. I cannot wait to see what these two are going to do today at the podiums.
Well, if you want to believe the impossible, of course, watch OP Sam, but Baron wants to crush those dreams. Our ban cards for this 1v1 set, Cloud9 choosing to eliminate Royal Hogs, and OP Sam's TSM getting rid of Lava Hound.
Yes, Lava Hound. Baron has had a lot of success running Lava Loon, Lava Miner, things like that, something that Sam does not want to deal with.
This is a big-time matchup. We've said it many times today. There's a reason why. A shot at 3rd place on the line. TSM's OP Sam, top of your screen. Cloud9's Baron at the bottom. Good luck, thanks. Emotes, whistles, skeletons, goblins, all sorts of things flying here. the troops will be coming down any moment.
Which I love, because at the actual podiums, they are stone-faced, not even looking at each other in-game. The BMs are flying, and now I see Sam coming out with this Cannon Cart Miner deck, which could be reminiscent of that Mortar Bait deck that Vulcan ran recently on a Pro versus Pro challenge. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. I think I was so excited because, no, it's going to probably be Graveyard now.
And Miner Graveyard, what a fascinating combination.
Yeah, and this is interesting because we've seen pros a lot when they play this Mega Minion, or this Mega Knight very aggressively. It's paid off because they know what their opponent does and does not have in cycle, and it's paying off right now. That Miner is going to tank for that Inferno Dragon for just a second. Wow. OP Sam doing what he does, staying calm, playing great defense. I was panicking for him, only takes a few hundred damage.
Wow, a great Barbarian Barrel. So talking about very high-valued 2 Elixir plays, of course, there was that Zap the other day in EU, getting the sparkiest shots off, and now here we get a Barbarian Barrel, pretty much saving that left-hand tower.
This is the deck that IMJP just climbed to the #1 in ladder with. It's replacing that Graveyard deck with the Graveyard for the Miner now, and you'll see the last card most likely going to be some sort of flying defense, whether it's the Bats, Minions, or Mega Minion. We've seen it swapped out, but this is an incredibly powerful control deck. The reason control decks aren't played a lot at CRL is because if you make a mistake, you have no way to bounce back. The defensive capabilities of this deck are unmatched.
Very powerful deck, but so far we've seen Sam have to play his Miner on the defensive end, I believe twice now, so he's going to want to switch that up as soon as he gets the opportunity. For now, though, he has been the one playing on his own half of the field.
Yep, now the Miner coming in, the Baby Dragon going to take control of that Inferno Dragon just for a moment, and that Mega Knight is going to be a problem.
While it is expensive, it also is a fantastic counter to that Miner, so we will see what Sam has up his sleeve to get around that huge card.
Yeah, this is actually a very, very interesting but great deck choice by Baron, kind of countering Sam, not completely. I wouldn't say it's a hard counter, but it definitely makes it a lot harder than Sam would like. And as you said, he's had to play that Miner on defense more times than he'd liked. And honestly, playing it on defense more than once to fix your cycle, or maybe more than twice to fix your cycle and then save yourself in a desperate moment. Other than that, if you're playing your Miner on defense a lot, you've usually lost control of the game.
Sam goes opposite lane, Cannon Cart barely picks up the Royal Ghost there with his Ice Wizard, so really kind of some desperation moves here to keep this thing going. The defense is holding for the moment, but now that we are in sudden death overtime, it is still Baron putting the pressure on his opponent.
Yeah, the deck choice by Baron here just being so effective. You get a little zap to slow that Cannon Cart down and the Royal Ghost to activate it and aggro it to stop that tower defense, and this was just played masterfully by Baron.
And that is going to be tower down on the left-hand side as soon as we get back to a poison, so maybe not even needing it. The Miner gets on tower. That will be it. The zap comes in. That Cannon Cart's not going to get there. Here we go. That is the end of game #1. Baron playing very clean and making some very good choices coming into this set.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good choices. The deck decision, that Mega Knight coupled with the poison just makes the Tombstone and that Miner so much less effective, because what happens is the Mega Knight crosses the river and you've got all these units behind it supporting it, but that poison stopping those skeletons from stunning or slowing your Mega Knight. Then in turn, you see right here, so the poison's down. The Mega Knight now can jump straight to the Ice Wizard, which is the best thing to stop it and slow it down. Usually the Ice Wizard will distract the Mega Knight as it's jumping on those skellies. That poison making none of it work out here. You see that all this damage coming down for Baron. Sam does a great job, but he just can't stop it. That Mega Knight was too much.
So game #1 in the books for Cloud9, and now very, very close to securing their spot in the playoffs. OP Sam needing 2 victories back-to-back over the German to win this set and send his squad to King of the Hill. While calm on the outside, the emotes screaming otherwise.
I truly feel like my heart rate is higher than both of those on the stage right now. Like, I'm panicking for both of them. This is so much riding on this line. And if Cloud9 does take this game, that will be a huge sweep over one of the best teams in all of NA.
Baron potentially showing 3M Hog Rider?
Yeah, or it could be that giant poison deck, not sure, but that Hunter has been coupled with it. And I was going to say the Three Musketeers and the Giant a lot.
And some bridge spam coming in for OP Sam. Fireball followed by the Log. That Log, though, will not get that last Musketeer, so she does do a good job defending. And there we go, the Hog Rider coming to the left-hand lane. This is a ton of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot coming down the left-hand lane now. That was the Rascals did a great job of cleaning that up. Honestly, better than I thought that he would, but still, the Log coming in 2 more shots, 1 more shot from that Musketeer. And Sam did not like that.
First minute down, Baron out to a slight lead, although Sam doing a better job defending than it appeared, and so now there's only about a 218 hit point difference, if I am doing my math correctly.
Now, there's one thing I learned from watching Sam play here at CRL and in that recent video is that no matter how down he is in the beginning, you can never count him out. He was down 2 towers and bounced back for a 3 crown, very easily, so off to a bit of a rough start, but that Magic Archer evens things out. And honestly, it's just going to be a double Three Musketeers deck here, it looks like. Just different with the Hog in there.
And the Rascals picking up those 3 Musketeers, the 2 Musketeers a little bit late, but a lot of damage in the right-hand lane, so Sam, his gamble might be paying off here. That E-Wiz could take that tower down with another shot or 2.
Wow, and now the Rascals in the left-hand lane somehow, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He managed his elixir well enough, and now that P.E.K.K.A stopping the Hog, he is in a great spot, an elixir advantage, honestly, and a lot of health on that Mama P.E.K.K.A.
Baron's been playing those 3 Musketeers fairly high over and over again and doing a smart job putting them in the left-hand side away from the tower that's in damage or in trouble.
And I think Sam expected that kite to come in, now doubling down in that right-hand lane. He's got the P.E.K.K.A in the right, the Magic Archer in front. And, well, wow, Baron did an excellent job defending all of that, but the Magic Archer does get on tower and takes it out.
So 20 seconds left. Sam just needs to defend this left-hand lane and not let Baron do enough damage, and I believe that's going to be it. So game number 2 going to OP Sam. This is the kind of match that we expected from these 2 top-tier competitors. We are going to a game number 3.
Absolutely. Despite the small misplays up front, you saw that little stare at the end. These guys both know what they're up against. The small misplay early on from Sam and the frustration on his face, but as I was saying, you can never, ever count him out being one of the best in the world. You saw the slow, methodical play, and all of a sudden it seemed like everything caught up with Baron, and Sam taking game number 2.
This squad's been in this position a lot in 1v1, Andrew, where in game number 1 they lose and then come back for reverse sweeps. So a place where they, you never want to be behind, but a place where they're not entirely uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly. And this is that push here where you saw that Electro Wizard doing so much. If your Electro Wizard or an Electro Wizard is behind any units, stunning and retargeting, it becomes so much to manage and deal with. That damage just compiles. And now I don't know if Sam actually expected the kite, but it actually seemed like he was kind of doubling down on the right-hand lane, knowing that the P.E.K.K.A was going to walk over there. Baron does play excellent defense here, but that Magic Archer for Sam was definitely the MVP, probably getting in around 10 to 12 shots through this entire game, and that was the reason he took that tower.
So the fast cycle deck of Baron does not pay off, and now we are going to a game number 3, the Mad Scientist up against the German sensation. It's really been everything we hoped, so let's see what they have in store for us in the 3rd and final game. One for Sam, one for Baron, one more for the rest of us.
And talking about that Magic Archer last game who did so much for Sam, it does have a 10.87 usage rate, but a 51.85% win rate here, so showing that when it is utilized correctly, it is so effective, as we all know from watching these last few weeks.
Sam getting aggressive with the miner play to open up, taking a few hundred off that left-hand tower.
Yep, and now Baron running that deck with the Bar Barrel, the Magic Archer. This could be a different couple styles of decks, but I personally do think it is that no-win condition deck.
It would be a very brave choice here in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, when in the hands of highly skilled players, I mean, they're all kind of win conditions. But then again, playing against highly skilled players, they know this deck very well. They know there's only one spell in it. They know what your air counters are, and right now, Baron's paying for it.
What an interesting juke that was, taking the miner to the right-hand lane and throwing the balloon down the left.
Absolutely. So what happened there was he basically knew that either the Magic Archer or the Flying Machine would have to be allocated to one or the other side. Then the bats would 100% come down because they're the best response to the balloon. You get the bats out of the way, and the Flying Machine and the Magic Archer probably will not take out the balloon in time. Really, really great play by Sam, and one of the weaknesses of using a deck that is so popular in Baron.
So I guess this is going to be the big question. How does Sam contend with the continued pressure in the right-hand lane from this Barbarian Hut? At the moment, it's the Inferno Dragon, but that's not going to last very long.
No, and then you wonder if Sam also has a Valkyrie in his deck, or what that last card is. If it's a Valkyrie or a Cannon card, it's a Tombstone. So that Tombstone, again, is going to draw the units all towards the middle, and his Mega Minion, since it's in the air, should be able to clean up most all these troops on the ground without being bothered by anything other than, say, a Magic Archer or a Flying Machine, which you want to bait those out of your opponent.
Oh, and that Fireball not quite getting both of those troops. The Cannon Cart in danger of getting a lock. It's the Tombstone down in time, but the pressure is now starting to build on the right-hand lane on behalf of Baron.
That is a very, very good point, Rich, and this is exactly what this deck is all about. It's making your opponent make mistakes defensively, i.e. that missed Fireball, and then they get caught defending too much. However, Sam doing a excellent job. Now, that Fireball didn't hit both because it couldn't, and that was because Baron did an excellent job of spacing them out well enough. Taking out one of them was imperative. Obviously, hitting both would have been amazing.
That Magic Archer just falling slightly outside on that tower, so not doing as much as Baron would have wanted. We are now entering into sudden death overtime, and Sam here does seem to have a bit of an elixir lead.
Yeah, and playing against this deck, it's really important to be able to take out either the Flying Machine or the Magic Archer without having to use a spell, and that's why you see this Mega Minion continuing to come in for the Magic Archer, because you want to save your spell for the other unit, or if you're lucky enough, you can hit the tower, the Barb Hut, and a crossing DPS unit all in one fell swoop.
Sam using that balloon very sparingly, only the second we've seen so far. And he is playing very, very good defense now. That left-hand tower offensively down to 560 as well.
Well, here's the thing. If the balloon cannot get targeted or not get drawn into the Barbarian Hut, you know you just zap the bats every time they come down. And then you've basically got to either deal with the Flying Machine or the Magic Archer. A great job of Baron in stopping that balloon, but also sacrificing damage on his right-hand tower.
And that was a huge fireball there, and for Baron, but does not quite do enough. Sam just needed to play defense now, and he will have this set sewn up for his squad.
Absolutely, Sam going to take this to King of the Hill, doing what he does, bouncing back here in game number 3. And I'm starting to wonder if this deck is actually viable at CRL, the one that Baron is running. When you play against people who are so good at the game, they recognize everything. And here's the other thing about that deck. There's only one spell in it, Rich, so you can bait things out of it very easily. And you saw that first balloon sneaking in here. He baited out the responses on the right-hand side. The bats come in to stop the balloon, Zap comes down, and that is 100% going to be a bomb drop on that tower. So really great play by Sam there.
OP Sam doing it once more, still undefeated in 1v1 sets, losing his first game, but still moving now up to 6-1 in 1v1, total 11-2 head-to-head play.
Yeah, he has just been a powerhouse here in the 1v1 set and doing so much for TSM. And as I just said, taking this 1v1 set in 3 games and pushing it to King of the Hill.
So what do you think, Pekka and Princess? Any thoughts here on what we might see in King of the Hill? That's a very good point. I think it's going to be 3 players from each team going head-to-head with each player having just one life. I guess they've been watching.
Yeah, they've been paying very, very close attention here at CRL.
Let's take a look inside the war rooms as these teams prepare their card bans, their lineups, and get ready for the most important 5 games of their season.
We're going to start with Wings this time. And CMC. Marin. We've been to King of the Hill 9 times and we've won it 7. We only need to win it 1 more time. Let's go out there. Play our game, dude. We're still in a good spot. We won our 2v2. It's one King of the Hill for playoffs. If they would have told us that at the beginning of the season, we would have taken it. One King of the Hill and you make playoffs, that's what we would love that. So let's just go out there. We've beat them before in King of the Hill. Well, specifically Wings beat them before in King of the Hill. Let's do it again. Everyone, just if you win your first game, play relax the second game. You did your part. That's it.
We're going to go with Vulcan first this time.
Great, bro.
Then Air Surfer. Then Sam. Okay, I just want to really quick, really briefly, find out what are you guys going to run against each opponent. So what do you think about Baron? What are you going to run against him?
How guys was your tornado?
He likes MK. He's ran that Barb HUD deck. What else does he like? Lava Hound. We banned it. What are you going to run against Wings or whoever you face?
I would run Barb HUD.
Okay. What do you think you're going to run?
Keep it a secret, bro.
Okay. All right. All right. That's it, I guess. Let's go out there and take this win and secure a spot in the playoffs.
TSM 3?
No TSM on 3.
Whoa.
Whoa!
What the?
Let's go.
TSM!
There is so much at stake. All I can do is add a little extra hype. Ready? This is it. Guys, for all the marbles, for all the glory, to write your own destiny. Once and for all. Are you hyped? Good. Cloud9 and Team Solomid. Play like your playoff lives depend on it. To the hill!
What better way to decide who will secure a spot in the playoffs than the best set here at CRL? It is King of the Hill.
Absolutely, and coming out for Cloud9, we got Wings kicking things off, CMQ in that middle spot, and Baron there to close things out, giving him a break from that 1v1 set. Their opponents, Vulcan, stepping back into 1v1 play, a place where he really does shine. 8-3 overall in 1v1 sets, followed up by Air Surfer and, of course, OP Sam.
Take a look at the ban cards active for all of our potential 5 games here in King of the Hill. It is Lava Hound and Royal Hogs.
Yeah, very, very curious to see what's coming out, but honestly, there's just so much on the line. I don't care about the bans. I want to get into the gameplay.
Last time, Wings swept the squad, but there was no OP Sam in that TSM lineup. King of the Hill, let's go. TSM's Vulcan, top of your screen. Cloud9's Wings at the bottom. And last time these two faced off, it was Wings taking the victory, running 3 Musketeers Royal Hogs against Vulcan's Graveyard Mega Knight Ewiz deck.
Yeah, it's one person sweeping TSM and King of the Hill is no small feat for anyone to accomplish.
So it looks like Vulcan here possibly running a 3 Musketeer Hog Rider deck potentially.
Yep, absolutely. Is probably what we're going to be seeing here. And then Wings on the bottom, maybe running some sort of P.E.K.K.A. bridge spam.
And there we go, Hog Rider opposite lane, so we will probably expect those 3 Musketeers at some point, although not guaranteed.
And there we see the Battle Ram in turn going down the left-hand lane. A nice counter push, but stopped by those guards. That Dark Goblin doing a lot of work. Still alive, going to pick apart that Hunter from a range, and that log coming in just in time.
So first shots taken for Wings, first shots taken for Vulcan. A minute down, and it is the TSM representative ahead by about 400, am I misreading that? 400 hit points?
Yeah, right around there. Vulcan here really, really showing he is one of the best head-to-head players in the world. That is why TSM has become so deadly here in the latter part of this season with OP Sam moving into that 1v1 spot. You've still got Vulcan for the King of the Hill.
So P.E.K.K.A. going the right lane, and Vulcan decides to punish opposite side, taking advantage of its #1 counter going into the opposite direction.
Yep, the right lane, but the wrong way for Wings, and now these Musketeers meeting that P.E.K.K.A. is a very nice response. Again, 8 seconds for that poison to do due diligence, and that is not going to be enough time for that P.E.K.K.A. to survive.
And a nice Ice Spirit there to distract that P.E.K.K.A. So Vulcan now playing very well as we enter into double elixir time. A slight lead, identical on both sides of Wings Towers.
Yeah, and that dual lane pressure, being able to keep it up with the split 3 Musketeers is devastating. That, coupled with the Hog as a very, very quick way to get to the tower, this is why this deck is so popular. And honestly, it's been even more popular with the Royal Hogs being able to split them in the middle, but with the card being banned, obviously the reason we're not seeing it.
That was a nice play on the 3 Musketeers, and that Ram does make a connection And on the opposite side, the Hog Rider gets picked up. So about a 2-second span, doing a ton of good for Wings and Cloud9.
Yeah, big swing in momentum there. Vulcan just losing his advantage by a bit there. Now 11:42 on his right-hand tower, where his lead is at 15:41 in the bottom left.
Notice that first Dark Goblin stayed on the board for a long time for Cloud9. Ever since then, Vulcan has made sure to log it very early.
Yeah, well, that very first Dark Goblin actually ended up hitting a couple hits on that tower, or excuse me, was the reason why that tower took a couple of hits. Now Vulcan recognizing he needs to take care of it very early on, and an oops coming out from Vulcan. Not something we really see from him much, but that tower at 458 HP on the right-hand side is just a few spells away.
And he...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but now Vulcan going high with his 3 Musketeers to avoid getting that tower poison as well. So making a slight adjustment, although the question is it enough at this late stage in the game?
What I was going to say was so interesting about that poison was that Wings actually missed one of the 3 Musketeers. It didn't matter because the big Mama P.E.K.K.A. walked right up to her and took her out. But that could have been a huge moment.
Guards behind Ice Spirit does help. The Hunter going to try to stop this. Here we go, down to 374. Wings now in very dangerous territory.
No, and that's going to be it for Vulcan there, because that Royal Ghost getting that splash damage hit, and Wings doing it once again. He could be TSM's kryptonite, now 4-0 in King of the Hill against them.
Fantastic play by Wings. It really looked like Vulcan had this thing in the bag, but a couple adjustments, and this was a huge moment for Cloud9.
Yeah, this battle ram connecting just enough from that log and poison. The Ice Spirit stops it, but stops it early on. The battle ram's able to get that charge going. Once again, it does connect. Guards coming in just a bit late, and that was really the big swinging moment of momentum here in game number 1.
At that exact same time in the other lane, you had the P.E.K.K.A. taking out the Hog Rider and picking up Musketeer damage. Yeah. So just a little bit of Elixir changes everything, and now Wings is back for game number 2 up against Air Surfer. Your ban card still Royal Hogs and Lava Hound. When these two met in the last King of the Hill round, it was Wings running 3 Musketeers, Royal Hogs again, and Air Surfer running the Expo Tesla. In fact, TSM ran Expo Tesla against them twice in a row, both Air Surfer and Firewolf. It falling both times. Of course, in the Firewolf match, Wings won on lowest tower running 2.6 Hog by just 1,011 hit points to 998.
Yeah, that was an absolutely insane first meeting, and now we're seeing double princesses. So 2 forms of... Actually, the top's probably not going to be a log bait. It's probably going to be more of that Hog Rider deck with the princess. We'll see if our mini P.E.K.K.A. makes an appearance on the desk and in the game.
It would be nice to see the mini P.E.K.K.A. out there today.
It really would.
Princess nonchalantly falling behind the King Tower, and there we go, Hog Rider right lane.
Yeah, very interesting with that Expo comment you were making earlier, Rich. That was so early on in the season, and we really haven't seen Expo much from any teams other than, honestly, TSM and Cloud9. And there's the mini P.E.K.K.A. making an appearance for our friend here at the desk and the princess. We got both of our figurines in the game.
And mini P.E.K.K.A. wins the first bet.
Yeah, very handedly. Our poor princess did not like that swing.
So Air Surfer choosing to eat the damage from the Rascal Girls on the right-hand side. We are halfway through regulation time, and now down to 1484, choosing to log the princess. Must feel like he has a decent response to that Goblin Barrel should it come in.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who actually has the matchup advantage here. It almost feels like Air Surfer does, because that Hog is more of a direct connection. However, with the Prince and the Rascals there, both these players having Princess, both of them having Log, it's going to be a very interesting next couple of minutes.
A lot of damage on that mini P.E.K.K.A. Of course, gets one swing in, so that Prince not in perfect health anymore. And with the Princess's help, should not make it to tower, coupled with those bats.
Hog Rider coming in. And so this is where I wonder if Air Surfer has the slight advantage, because that Hog Rider should get about a shot in every time it goes down the lane that it doesn't meet the Prince coupled with the Ice Spirit. So I'd say almost every other time it's set down, or if he can get the Prince out of cycle by pushing the other lane, but it's going to be really hard because the Rascals are such a great defensive response. He now knows, Wings knows, that the Prince is the best thing to stop the Hog Rider, the Ice Spirit, and the Log. Now you see the Log coming down, the Prince coming down, and he's not going to use the Ice Spirit this time. Princess still alive. Great defense.
We have not yet seen Air Surfer's final card. We also have not yet seen a big spell from the TSM representative.
Yeah, you wonder if it's poison from both of them or if one of them is going to go big with a rocket, which would be more likely to be Air Surfer, but very, very curious to see what these guys have as that last card.
So Air Surfer switching things up, choosing to save that Log now for the barrel, realizing how much danger that right-hand tower is in. But, oh, there we go. So now we do get the Ice Golem picking up that Prince just in time.
Yeah, but that Princess right behind to clean up those bats. Now, Air Surfer was able to get away with it that time. However, if that interaction goes even just a little bit different, Wings, I think, gets a Prince charge. Princess is taking each other out there.
Very well-timed Log, so Air Surfer tightening up his defense. Of course, he is still in trouble and has done 0 damage in the left-hand lane.
Which, honestly, at this point, it is going to be a one-tower game. Do not waste your time on damage in the other lane. What can happen there is your opponent can opt to eat the damage to gain an elixir advantage. Now, if you can get them to get things out of cycle, that is obviously the ideal situation to happen. And connecting on both sides is going to be the Princess and the Rascal Girls.
Just a little bit of work here, doing a lot of damage, and this could be a big moment with some swings from those goblins on the barrel, and now that right-hand tower is definitely getting into spell range, so if that is a rocket, we should expect to see that fairly soon. There it is.
Yep, Wings doing a great job of out-cycling Air Surfer. We all kind of saw it coming in that moment. You saw the Goblin Barrel come out, and we knew 4 cards had not been played by the TSM representative, and now Wings, again, doing it once again. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I mean, maybe it's going to be 6 in total, but OP Sam shaking the hands of his teammate as he walks down to the podium to take out 3 Cloud9 representatives.
And this was it, just could not keep up with it, and once this Goblin Barrel got on tower, we were not in lowest tower situation, there was no chance anymore. A couple of swings from those 3 goblins, and that was the game for Wings. And now it's TSM with their backs all the way up against the wall. OP Sam facing off against Wings and King of the Hill. Game number 3, OP Sam facing off against Wings. Came back from that deficit in 1v1, but he does not have any lives to give in this situation.
Yes,
Lives.
Live. Yeah, he's on his very, very last one here. 1 for TSM, 3 for Cloud9. What is gonna happen?
Sam choosing to eat all that minor damage on the right-hand lane, so could we be seeing this Mirror Hut again?
I don't know, but I just immediately get a little bit reluctant feeling inside if I see that Siegs deck pop out. We saw it be so effective online and in the ladder, but this isn't online and in the ladder. This is CRL. There's bans implemented and you're playing against the best players in the entire world.
Fireball there on the Elixir pump behind Wings picture, so getting some value on the right-hand side, trying to prevent that extra advantage coming in for the Cloud9 representative, and we are getting a lot of damage here in the left-hand lane.
Yeah, not a lot to respond with that pump coming down for Wings. However, the spells in hand for Sam. It looks like he opted to put the Log in for the Barb Barrel, hoping that he can get a little more chip damage on the tower, but the only response he has to punish that pump is the Fireball. And then now you wonder what he's going to have to respond to the 3 Musketeers.
Well, Wings choosing to eat the damage on the left-hand side while he pumps up, but you have to imagine that that pump, if it does stay alive, it will stay alive only so that Fireball can take out 3 Musketeers when it comes down.
Yes, and this is really, I mean, so Wings did lose a tower early on, but this is where this deck shines, is now that it has an Elixir advantage. It opted to save Elixir to create, to take damage, and now with the pump down, a huge, huge advantage. 3 Musketeers getting dropped down the lane. What is going to happen? This is huge.
But they all get fireballed, and the Magic Archer will clean up. Not even necessary. It's the Cannon Cart doing its job, so That was a big swing in Sam's favor with just 48 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, and it appears, honestly, I mean, at that point now, this is going to be a really tough one for Wings to bounce back from. However, he still does have the Elixir advantage. That Barbarian Hut is not going to distract the Battle Ram, but the Royal Ghost will stop it.
30 seconds left, Wings giving good game, and you know, I wonder if it really was just that log adjustment that made the difference, or Sam just got a good situation here. But this deck is paying off in the most important usage it's had pretty much the entire day.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Only before seeing it really pay off when it was playing against almost a mirror match. Sam here doing a great job, opting to change it up a little bit. The log in for the Bar Barrel, the Mega Minion in for the Bats, making it just a little beefier. And Wings doing a phenomenal, phenomenal job for his team, taking out Vulcan and Air Surfer, and now CMQ is up for Cloud9.
Eric telling the squad beforehand that, you know, if you go in there and get that first win, you've done your job. Well, Wings went and did his job ×2, taking out 2/3 of TSM's roster, but could not get past the Mad Scientist.
Yeah, and you see this excellent use of the Magic Archer, getting through and taking out the Minion Horde. Such a positive Elixir trade. He's got to throw down the Battle Ram to play some defense. I didn't see the fireball or the pump behind the picture, and I was wondering, oh my gosh, what just happened? I thought his finger slipped. But the fireball goes to the pump, takes out the left-hand Princess Tower, remains in a good Elixir position. Great job by Sam.
So last time it was Wings who stepped in after they faltered and took the sweep. Sam looking to do that for TSM here right now.
Thank you.
CMQ stepping in for Cloud9, and he has been up and down in head-to-head play with a total record of 14 wins and 13 losses.
And you love that little bit of saucy thanks coming from OP Sam, knowing he's going to need it.
Sam cycling his Royal Ghost in the back. IceWiz going the opposite direction.
I wonder if Sam's going to run with the same style of deck as we saw in the last game. No, because there's a Battle Ram. And an aggressive start from Sam, getting a little bit of damage in turn.
Well, his Elixir position is pretty good right now.
Yeah.
He does have responses, and he does pick up that Baby Dragon with the Rascal Boy. Rascal Girl's in back cleaning things up, so a good opening minute for TSM.
Yep, and it looks like we'll most likely see Three Musketeers coming out for Sam, and then on the bottom of the screen from CMQ, probably going to see Graveyard. And if we don't see Graveyard, we could see Miner Control in place of the Graveyard. I mean, honestly, it's the same deck as that very popular Graveyard deck, but with that Miner
And
right
there you go. There's the Miner. This is the one that you talked about, IMJP from our EU region, using to get #1 on ladder recently.
Yeah, very, very exciting moment for that young man. A very talented, talented player here in esports. Very excited to see what he's going to bring to CRL next season.
Minute 30 down here in regulation, and so far it is Sam with the slight lead, but that poison beginning to even things up for CMQ.
And it's going to be very interesting to watch CMQ play this deck, and I've mentioned this a few times before about the best players in the world really loving control decks, but kind of shying away from them at CRL because your opponents will exploit your mistakes and make you pay 10 times for them. However, the control decks shine the most when your opponents make mistakes, and if you're playing against the best players in the world, they don't make any. You don't really have a moment to shine. So it'll be very interesting to see if CMQ can find points to break through here other than just chipping away with that Miner and getting that tower down to, let's say, half health by the time he loses this game.
So we're pretty far past it now, but you saw the barrel up against the Rascals, taking out the Rascal Girls from behind and turning the Rascal Boy around. And here it goes, doing its other fantastic job against the Magic Archer. So we've said it before, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again, the barrel as a counterplay has really emerged here in October.
Yeah, 2 for 4 and 2 for 5, or 2 for 4 and 2 for 5. I will take those trades all day long.
And CMQ starting to step up the pace here with the Miners on the right-hand side.
And again, this is everything on the line. You look at OP Sam, and he is just laser focused. He knows he is the last lifeline for his team.
That Magic Archer doesn't quite get tower by about a tile. So frustrating.
Legitimately one tile rich, and a great poison to clean it up and to stop it from getting any more damage in a slight turning point right here for CMQ, and there's that Baby Dragon coupled with the NATO. Not getting a lot of value out of it this time around, but still getting some decent damage in on that tower.
Magic Archer trying to get rid of that tombstone, does not do it in time. The Barbarians get on tower, but even though there's a lot coming down the right-hand lane, his right-hand tower is also in a ton of trouble.
Yeah, and that miner coming in to distract the Royal Ghost and the Wrath, because you thought, oh, maybe it missed the barb pull, but it wasn't really about pulling the barbs, it was the stuff behind it.
Although at this point, it is XOP Sam doing a decent job of recovering from what was a tough sequence. Still want to drop his right-hand tower to under 1,000 hit points with that poison, but he is now back in this thing.
Yeah, he's doing a really, really great job, as he always does, in staying in the game. Now, I don't know if he can avoid it, but I'm sure he's thinking about it every single time it happens. But he's giving CMQ a lot of spell value every time, allowing that poison to hit his tower and his Magic Archer, and the other troops involved or in between are kind of negligible. If you can hit the tower and the Magic Archer every time, you are winning with that poison.
A nice tombstone from CMQ does not pull the P.E.K.K.A, unfortunately, but does distract the Magic Archer long enough.
It's on the tower. Oh, one swing even with the NATO, and that is going to probably be it for CMQ. Nothing is going to stop that battle ram. And OP Sam, 2 up, 2 down. Here we go. Game number 5 on its way.
Wow, just when you think that Sam is out of it and CMQ has secured 3rd place for Cloud9, he makes some minor adjustments to take care of that miner and picks it up, giving his squad the win.
I am freaking out right now, Rich. You saw right here, it seemed like CMQ was just going to do this for the next 3 minutes, play great defense, poison away, get spell value, but you saw when he kind of let it slip. Now you see, again, the Magic Archer at the river, such a great way to take out that tombstone. You see the bar barrel coming across, and this is kind of the moment where OP Sam started to break through. You see the barbs getting through, the miner coming in a little bit late, and then finally this very last push. The P.E.K.K.A on the cannon cart, 1 swing to go down, another swing to get rid of it, and then it's on the tower. The NATO comes in late, not enough.
And 1 last swing, a little help from the battle ram, and that is it. CMQ eliminated, and now it all comes down to this. OP Sam and Baron once again fighting for their squad's place in the playoffs. Now remember, the winner here will take his squad into 3rd place for sure. The loser puts his fate in the hands of Tribe, facing off against Immortals. Take a deep breath, everyone.
I literally just took a gigantic one. One of my favorite things about watching Baron play is he gives this stare across to his opponents right before they queue up the match, and I just wonder what is going through his mind right now, meeting OP Sam again after that 1v1 set.
So a very similar look to last time. It's Baron cycling the Royal Ghost in the back. This time it is the Ice Wizard meeting that Royal Ghost on the same side.
And honestly, this could just be a mirror matchup of what we just saw, except for a different name for the C9 representative.
Although it's the 3 Musketeers this time.
Yep. I am so nervous, and it appears Baron is probably going to be running either the Graveyard or the Minor Control version, and then obviously we've got this 3 Musketeers split push deck coming from OP Sam. He was the one that made it very popular a week ago.
A lot of damage from that 1 Musketeer on the left-hand side, choosing to eat the 2, possibly 3 belches of the Baby Dragon.
And in case it hasn't been made clear enough, 3rd place is on the line right now. You got to make it into playoffs. 3rd and 4th going head-to-head.
Oh my gosh, could we be seeing the 3 Musketeer Barb Hut Mirror deck once more?
I hope so, Rich. I really hope so, because if anyone can pull it off, it is OP Sam. We've seen how effective it is in his hands. But also him being such a master of making decks, it wouldn't be surprising if he were to put all these cards in there and then the last card be something like a Goblin Giant just to throw his opponents off, and somehow he knows how to use it.
That Ice Wizard staying alive for a very long time, so definitely benefiting Cloud9 and Baron in this moment.
Yeah, very satisfying when your DPS unit does not cross the river. And this is a really nice trade for Baron, getting that NATO in but not having to use his poison.
Wow, that was absolutely massive. Trying to take care of the Ice Wizard, but getting a little bit late, and so the Ice Wizard Baby Dragon taking care of that 9 elixir very easily.
Yep. And that is not a trade that Sam wanted to happen. A lot coming down the left-hand lane for that NATO to come in a bit aggressive, but I think he feels he can play adequate defense. And actually getting a decent amount of damage in on that tower.
So it's Graveyard versus possibly the Three Musketeer, Barb Hut, maybe Mirror Deck. We'll see what that last card is at some point.
And we are separated by about 17 HP on this left-hand side. This is as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen.
Rascal's forced to go in because nothing else picking up that Baby Dragon, and now Magic Archer doing some work with the Barbarians, pulling stuff up at the river. Poison now getting some value.
A missed fireball on that Ice Wizard for Baron, and again, Baron's Ice Wizard's getting so much value. The Barb Hut comes down behind the tower now to help with that Graveyard threat, but 942 HP remaining on that bottom left-hand tower, or that top left-hand tower.
We are in sudden death overtime, and now Three Musketeers played together at the river, very aggressive. They will get poisoned, but do a lot to stop this here. Still quite a commitment, although now back up to 10 again is OP Sam.
Yep. And there's the mirror. We knew it was coming. He was holding on to that last card for so long. You had to imagine it was going to be the mirror once again. And now is the moment where this deck becomes incredibly dangerous. A hair late on that Rascals drop. You really wanted the boy to get in front of those 2 Musketeers and the girl, kind of stopping his push in its tracks.
Tombstone forced to be played to deal with all that on the right-hand side. So now it is Sam trying to take control.
Still maintaining an elixir advantage is so impressive by Sam, and it's because of these spawning buildings requiring a response from Baron. He has to spend elixir to keep them in line, and that's how Sam is managing this elixir advantage, or maintaining it.
That Barbell is doing so much effective work against that Magic Archer. It really has been a positive trade for Baron over and over again.
Yeah, and right now you gotta think that this is where Sam wants to try to push both lanes. Baron's kind of get his back against the wall, and a great NATO from Baron, probably recognizing that that was the next and best play for Sam.
And really, and they don't get a lick of damage on that tower, so now only a minute remaining. We are in lowest tower. This is King of the Hill, so Sam really needs to push here. Right now, he is behind by about 700 hit points, so unless he can get back on those towers and get that damage back, he could lose this thing by a lowest tower situation.
60 seconds remain, and right now, Baron has got a commanding lead because of that lowest tower situation. Baron getting in on that bottom right tower, though, or getting in on that bottom right tower is OP Sam, almost evening this thing up.
Doesn't quite get there, and that last Musketeer gets eaten by the poison. Do we get a swing? No, so here we are, 40 seconds left. Sam pushing, trying to find a way through. Can he get on tower? He is very close, but remember, there is a Graveyard and a poison for Baron. He can always put a lot of damage on that left-hand lane.
And Sam doubles down with the mirror of the 3 Musketeers. The poison comes in, the Baby Dragon is gonna get splash damage, and that could be it. Now Sam is in a position that he has to get a bunch of damage on this bottom right-hand tower, and he's only got 10 seconds to do it. I don't think it's gonna happen, Rich.
Oh my gosh, this is wild. What an unbelievable performance here by Baron. 4 seconds left. No, that will be it. Cloud9 taking the victory and securing 3rd place and a spot in the playoffs.
What an incredible, incredible match. You see the sportsmanship between these 2 players, 2 of the quietest teams at all of CRL. I have chills. This has been absolutely insanity, Richard.
That was so crazy, and you know, it looked for a minute there like we might see Sam pull off magic one more time and turn things around, but it was Baron playing very cool-headed, making the right choices, and most importantly, remembering very, very, very early that it was lowest tower and
Yes.
he didn't have to push hard.
Absolutely. Once he saw that he had taken that advantage, he knew he could kind of coast through the game. I mean, coasting through a game against OP Sam is definitely an understatement, but he did a wonderful job playing defense. He should be so proud of the plays he made, and it started with plays like this, using the NATO and not having to couple it with the poison because you've got the Ice Wizard and the Baby Dragon alive. And again, NATOing these all together, again, making great positive elixir trades so that you are maintaining an elixir advantage, even though OP Sam has a spawning building coming down. And then you saw this last-ditch effort by Sam to try to get to the tower, and Baron just was not having it. 7, 6, 5, Fireball comes in, 4, 2, 1, done. And Cloud9 takes it. What a game for our two friends to see.
And so now Cloud9 has secured a spot in our playoffs. We'll get to more of that later, but right now, Baron falling in the 1v1 in a 2-1 set against OP Sam, getting revenge in the final game of King of the Hill. Let's see what he has to say as he sits down with Christy St. John.
Thanks, guys. Coming in clutch for Cloud9 to end that King of the Hill and taking the match. How's it feel?
Feels amazing. I don't know. I did not my best job in the best of 3. I lost it, and he played really well in that. And then, yeah, came down to the last game in King of the Hill. Feels good.
I have to ask, in that last game, when did you know you were playing for lowest tower? Did you know early?
Yeah, when I saw the 3 mask, I knew I was not going to win this. So I just played for the most damage as I could get, and it worked.
Well, great win. Congrats on clinching that playoff spot. Thanks so much for talking to me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. So there you have it. Baron saying that he called that it was lowest tower within the first 10 seconds, and we've talked a lot about the first person seeing that usually has a huge advantage.
Oh, 100%, Rich, and that is one of the reasons why you look at Cloud9 and where they're at in the standings, and that play by Baron is no new sight for them. He is one of the best in the world, and now you see with that happening, Team Solomid dropping to 5th place. Immortals in 2nd after the win from compLexity earlier today, and nothing short of madness in the top 4 here in North America, Rich.
And this is very important for our playoff picture. Now, we will get into a game later that could change all of that, but right now it's compLexity in number 1, Immortals only getting a first round bye, and it would be Tribe and Cloud9 if things stayed exactly as they are. But we will be back on Thursday with a very important match where Immortals will have a chance to retake number 1. If Tribe wins, they secure that number 4 spot, but if they lose, TSM will be back in the hunt for our World Finals.
Yes, and those World Finals will only be going to the person in first place, and they will be going to Tokyo, Japan, December 1st. Now, if you're in the States, that'll be on November 30th, but in Japan, Tokyo, December 1st at 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time.
Only one more day remains in our regular season, but we do have our first, second, and final rounds of playoffs in both North America and Europe, and you can follow all that action by hitting subscribe on the Clash Royale Esports YouTube page. Don't forget to ring that bell for your notifications. Go to esports.clashroyale.com for all your information, and of course there's the Esports tab within your app. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday, October 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for that all-important Immortals Tribe match to finally figure out what happens in our playoffs. And as Andrew just pointed, make sure you get our friends here, the P.E.K.K.A., the Princess, their friend the Baby Dragon,
the Hog Rider, the Giant. They're all available at shop.supercell.com, but not yet. Wait till November 7th.
You don't have to wait that long to get more Clash Royale action. We will see you here on Thursday. From my friend Andrew Guy, I'm Rich Slayton. We'll see you in 2 days back inside the arena.
Oh, what a great day of battle. These warriors fought bravely and stood strong in the face of danger. So much drama, so much destruction, so much of so many good things. The playoffs are now almost here, and goodness will soon become greatness. Then greatness will become something even better than greatness at the World Finals. Whatever you do, keep watching. Subscribe to the Clash Royale Esports channel, and remember, keep an eye on those rascals. They're rascals. It shouldn't surprise you that they're up to no good.